Some invitations aren't meant to be declined, but accepting them costs everything. Selenagomez built her career on an image of sweetness and vulnerability. But behind the curtain, she ruled through silence, control, and fear. On Instagram, smiles felt like survival. I avoided those parties for years. Until that night. It was supposed to be her birthday. Until I stood in that room with the drink in my hand and all those eyes watching me. That night didn't end when I left. It followed me. And it's still with me now. Landing a social media coordinator job at an influencer agency meant I'd made it in LA. Not halfway made it. Not good start made it. Made it. Period. I was 26, broke, and running out of reasons to stay. This job wasn't just a position. It was the golden door. 3 weeks after submitting some Instagram caption ideas through a friend of a friend, I was at the desk. Badge, contract, everything. Selena loved me, called me her undercover sniper, said my posts went viral quietly. I was even writing captions for her personal Instagram stories on weekends. The office buzzed every time Selena walked in, not in a celebrity way, in a weather shift way. When Selena entered the floor, conversations broke mid-sentence. Coffee cups froze halfway to mouths. People didn't make eye contact. Not out of fear, exactly. More like management by atmosphere. Selena didn't yell, but she cut with a smile. "Nice shoes, Megan. Did you pick those from the Lost and Found or just lose a bet? I saw your post draft. It made me want to go back to therapy. She'd laugh first, you'd laugh second. And if you didn't, you weren't there the next week." One Monday morning, a guy named Jordan was gone. He'd been Selena's media assistant for 4 seasons. Always early, always smiling. On Friday, he brought coffee. On Monday, his desk was cleared, monitor wiped, badge deactivated. Nobody talked about it. The first time I heard the phrase, it was from a wardrobe intern. She looked at me with dead serious eyes and said, "You're new. You still say no." I must have stared. She blinked like she'd just woken up and walked off. But as she turned the corner, I swear I heard her mumble, "We all give in eventually." At first, I brushed it off. Everyone's weird in this business. But then it happened again. On a Wednesday shoot, Selena read a story series cold off the prompter, and it was my voice. The rhythm, the callbacks, even the phrasing. But I didn't write it. I asked another writer if they'd submitted it for me. He just looked at me like I was speaking another language. Then came the party invitations. "My birthday party's coming up. Everyone goes." I declined politely. She laughed like I'd told a joke. The next week, she leaned in during a strategy meeting and whispered, "Work happens at the party. You want that promotion, don't you?" The week after that, she made a story post about dreams and hard work. She pointed at me off camera. "Some people think they can stay in the waiting room and still get invited through the gold door." A few days later, I ran into Carla, one of the senior social media managers. "She offered you a cup yet?" she said. I blinked. "What?" "You'll know it when it happens. My advice, don't drink it, even if it's gold, especially if it's gold." That was the last time I saw her. The morning of Selena's birthday, she called me into her office. "Tonight, no excuses, no more hiding. You're ready." I should have said no again. But this job was my dream. I wasn't ready to wake up yet. "I'll be there." The birthday invitation sat in my back pocket like a live wire. Folded cardstock with Selena's looping script. "Wear black. Bring nothing. Leave different." By Friday, the office had entered its quiet phase. That happened before all her parties. Chatter died down. People walked faster. Everyone avoided direct eye contact. The day before the party, I stayed late. Selena wanted last-minute caption edits for a brand partnership. I finished and headed down the hall, thinking maybe I'd drop the draft on her desk and sneak out. That's when I saw her. She was standing alone in the hallway, motionless. Her mouth was slack and something thick was trailing from her bottom lip. It took me a second to realize she was drooling. Her eyes locked on mine. But they weren't right. The color was gone. They were completely black. No whites, no shine. Just void. We all give in eventually. She said it like a sigh, her voice lower than I'd ever heard it. I froze. Then, just like that, she blinked. The drool vanished. Her eyes were brown again, bright, empty. "You finished the caption for Jennifer yet?" she said, chipper as ever. The next morning, Daniel, one of our newer social media researchers, didn't show up. His desk was cleaned out by 10 a.m. A new guy was in his chair before lunch. That afternoon, I walked past Selena's office and heard her laughing. Not her usual laugh. It was deeper, slower. Someone was in there with her. And every few seconds in unison they said something. "Be kind. Be kind. Be kind." Over and over. Perfect rhythm. Mechanical. I pressed my ear against the door. The chanting continued. Stephanie, the talent liaison, appeared beside me. She looked pale. "Don't listen when they chant. You can't unhear it." I tried to quit that night. Typed up a short email, hovered over the send button. Then I remembered Selena's face. Not the one with the black eyes. The other one. The one that looked at me like I was chosen. That night, Carla texted me. "Still time to say no. If you drink it, it won't be you laughing anymore." Party night. The property was enormous. An estate tucked behind hedges. The gate opened before I even touched the intercom. There were no cars, no music, no chatter, just dim lights winding up the driveway. The house was unnaturally quiet. A butler appeared soundlessly. "She's waiting." I followed the curve of the hall until I reached a room that opened into what looked like a ballroom. And that's when I saw them. They stood along the walls, perfectly spaced, almost like portraits. Kim Kardashian in a black dress, Justin Bieber holding a wine glass, Haley Kylie former Disney Channel stars. They didn't speak. They didn't smile. They just watched. Selena was in the center of the room, dressed in a deep black suit. Sharp, tailored. Her hair was slicked back. In her hand she held something small and gold. She turned. Her smile was wide, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You made it." She walked over and held out a porcelain teacup with a gold rim. It shimmered faintly. "This is the moment. Everyone gets one. Only the chosen drink. Once you sip, you'll feel it. The chain breaking. The door opening. Your real career starts tonight." I looked at the cup. The liquid inside was thick and golden, swirling unnaturally, like it was alive. Behind Selena, the others stepped forward, silently, forming a semicircle. Kim, Justin, Haley Kylie. All watching me, expressionless, expectant. "You said you wanted to succeed. This is how you stop waiting for someone else's yes." That's when it started. First, just a whisper. "Be kind." Then again. "Be kind." Then louder. Unified. "Be kind. Be kind. Be kind." Over and over. A dozen voices, then 2 dozen. All of them chanting in perfect rhythm. Kim's lips moved in sync. Justin's. All their eyes fixed on me. Their mouths repeating the phrase like Holy Scripture. The air vibrated with the sound. But it didn't feel kind. It felt hungry. I turned back to Selena. Her eyes were black again. But now she was drooling. A long, clear strand stretched from her lower lip to her chin. Her smile twitched wider, unnaturally wide, and she kept whispering beneath the chant, "We all give in eventually." The chanting got louder. "Be kind. Be kind. Be kind." I raised the cup. My hand shook. For a second, I wanted it. The freedom, the success, the knowing I'd never be a nobody again. I could see it. My name in credits I hadn't written. Private jet invites, awards, applause. All I had to do was drink. But then I looked again at their eyes, at how none of them blinked, how none of them had moved in the last 5 minutes. They weren't watching to see me succeed. They were watching to see if I'd break. I lowered the cup, stepped back, then dropped it. It shattered on the marble floor, splashing the golden liquid across Selena's shoes. The chanting stopped. For a second, there was nothing but silence. And then a smile twitched on Selena's face. Not rage, not disappointment, something else. Satisfaction. I turned and ran through the hall, past the butler, out the door. The night air hit my lungs like water after drowning. As I opened my car door, something made me turn back, and there they were, all of them, standing in the doorway, silent, still, smiling, watching me go. I didn't go back to work, didn't resign either. I just stopped showing up. There were no angry emails, no calls, not even a text from HR. One day my ID badge worked. The next, it didn't. No one asked why. The day after the party, I stayed in bed. I replayed everything. The drool, the chant, the way they stared at me like I'd interrupted something ancient. For a week, I didn't leave the apartment. Then the news hit. The studio announced a strike. All shows would go dark immediately. But the timing felt orchestrated, like the party was a final test, and I'd failed. I started reaching out to contacts, old showrunners, streaming producers. No one returned my emails. One exec I'd worked with before finally answered, "Sorry. I can't be attached to you right now. You pissed someone off. Big." When I asked who, he hung up. For the first time in my life, I couldn't write. Not a post, not a caption, not a line. Every time I opened a blank document, I heard it. That chant. Be kind. Be kind. Be kind. Rent got harder. I started freelancing on spec projects. Low-paying, no-credit stuff. It was work, but it felt hollow. Sometimes I caught myself wondering, what if I'd said yes? What if I'd taken the drink? A few months later, I noticed an influencer I knew landed a major brand deal overnight. No audition, just got it. I called to congratulate him. "You just have to show up to the right party." Then he paused. "You should have come when you had the chance." I didn't know how he knew, but he did. One night I passed a homeless man on the sidewalk. He opened one eye as I stepped past and whispered, "We all give in eventually." I started seeing the pattern. The ones who said yes were all shiny, glossed over smiles, always laughing but never at anything real. A year passed, then 2. The world moved on. Hollywood forgot me. Last week, it arrived. No knock, no email confirmation. Just a small box sitting neatly at the edge of my welcome mat. The label was handwritten. Just my name. No address, no postage. Inside was a porcelain teacup, white with a gold rim. Slightly chipped, the same kind Selena had handed me that night. No note, no explanation. Just the cup. Immaculate. Uncracked. Like it had never shattered. Like it had followed me. I turned it over in my hands. That's when I saw the writing. It wasn't on paper. It was scratched into the underside of the cup in delicate, perfect cursive. "Be kind and give in." My hands went cold. I dropped the cup into the sink and backed away. The next morning, I found another box. Smaller this time. Inside, a single matchstick and a note. Plain printer paper, folded once, no signature. Burn it if you're sure. But remember, the door doesn't close. It waits. Some nights I still dream I'm back on set. Selena's holding out the cup, drooling, grinning, and I don't drop it this time. I drink, and suddenly everyone's clapping. My phone's ringing with offers. I'm laughing louder than I've ever laughed, because now I understand the joke. But when I wake up, I'm still here, still me, still haunted, and the cup is still in my kitchen cabinet. I didn't burn it. I couldn't, because part of me, the part that almost said yes, still wonders. Selena didn't make me a victim. She made me a question, and that question follows me everywhere I go. They call it kindness, but it's hunger, and I still hear it whispering at night. You think she's an influencer, a singer, a businesswoman. I know what she really is, a collector, a gatekeeper, and one day when she's strong enough she'll open the door completely. If you get a DM from a verified account, blue check, inviting you to a private party, think. Ask why they want you. Ask what they want in return. Because in Hollywood, nothing is free. Every opportunity has a cost. When you go to Selena's party, you leave a piece of yourself there, and you can't get it back. I know, because I'm still there, in that room, with those people, chanting, "Be kind, be kind, be kind."